Hey everyone, we're going to simplify expressions with radicals and complex numbers. These are the three problems that we're going to do, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll get started and do the first one. So let's just write this out. We have 2i times, and this square means we can write this out for 2 times. All right, so I just wrote 2 of these down. Now let's multiply the coefficients here. So we have 16 times 2 is 32. Then we have I to the first power, I cubed times I cubed. Now, this is going to be 32i, and we add these up with our product rule. So this gives me 32i to the 7th. Now, I have it here, I to the 7th equals negative I. But what you can do is if you only know the first 4, which is the ones you really need to know, I can write this as 32i to the 4th times I cubed, because that gives me I to the 7th. Well, I to the 4th is a nice one because it equals 1. So I can write this as 32i times 1 times I cubed. Now, I cubed again is negative I. So now I'm just going to write this as negative I. So my final answer is going to be 32i, but it's negative. So that would be your final answer there. Now, in the second one, I'm going to just separate these out. This is square root of negative 1 times square root of 4 times square root of negative 1 times square root of 9. So this is I times 2 times I times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Then you have I squared. Now I squared is negative 1. So I'm going to write this as 6 times negative 1, which equals negative 6. Would be your final answer. And for the last one, we're going to write this, we can write this out as negative I times negative I. Let me write it out right. I'll just do it this way, negative I times negative I. And this one, we're going to write this out 3 times. I squared times I squared times I squared. Now, with the negatives, we have 1, 2, 3 negatives. That means the answer is going to be negative. And then all I'm going to do is write this I to the first. These are all to the first power. So I'm just going to add them up using your product rule for exponents. All right, so that gives you 3 plus 6 is 9. So this is negative I to the 9th. Now, for I to the 9th, we can write this as negative I to the 4th times I to the 4th times I. Because again, that would be 4 plus 4 plus 1 equals 9. And the reason I want to write it in 4 is because this is our nice one. It equals 1. So you have negative 1. So that's 1. This is 1. And then you have I. So the final answer is just going to be 1 times 1 is just 1. So your final answer is negative I. Also known as I cubed. But we don't want to write it as I cubed. We want to write it as negative I. And again, you might want to screenshot some of this. This has some of the information you need. This is the first 4. And then looking at the pattern, you can see that it repeats. So basically, you have your answers here. I was trying to show some examples here. And then it repeats every multiple of 4. All right. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.